Have you been at EFI Connect before?
I have. This is my 7th year, I believe.
We're going to talk about your company and what you do, of course. But before we do that, let's stay a little bit on Connect for a second. Why do you choose to come back to this crazy place?
So you said it actually very well. The communications that you get at Connect, number one, they're personal. It's one-on-one. You get to meet and speak with the people that you're doing business with, both from EFI and other customers, more importantly. And one of the things that is, this being my 7th year, I've been on the Radius User Group Committee. So I've seen the progress that EPS has made with the product over the years based on the communications that came from us.
So that must be very satisfying to see that the progression that you see in the software that you depend on in your business, you see that coming to a user conference actually pays off in that perspective, right?
Exactly. We saw some great examples today. And it was incredible seeing the reaction of different customers that hadn't seen what I've been able to be privy to as part of the committee, the user group kind of steering committee, for lack of a better word. To see their reaction was amazing. Literally, they're probably things that we've been talking about for years that are now a material product. We can see it, and we're anticipating installing it too.
And if you look at sitting in a committee like this and having these user conferences where you have that influence, right. I take that a lot of this is extremely important to how your business can develop, because the changes in the business environment is constant, right?
Without a doubt. It's the only constant is change, I think. And we are a packaging company. We make packaging. The Productivity Suite, EPF, is a suite designed for packaging companies. Now, do the developers or does EFI make packaging? No, they don't. They make software for packaging. So I like to use the expression, they don't eat their own dog food, all right? That might be a little crude, but in other words, do you get my point?
Yeah, I get your point. I mean, so basically what you say, that if you didn't have the users, if they didn't have that close communication with the users, they would not be able to develop the right stuff, right?
Exactly. And quite honestly, I don't get that from other software companies. Most of the bigger companies, they don't know, really, at this point, they don't know who I am, and this company is the right size. We are able to have these conversations, and we can advance their product, and in turn, that advances our business. We grow our business.
Fantastic. Let's talk a little bit about your company. What is the company name, and what do you do?
So Primary Packaging is a converter in Ohio area, south of the Pro Football Hall of Fame by about a half hour. We convert pellets of resin into pallets of plastic packaging, flexible packaging. Very wide format bags. Our specialty is strength, industrial strength bags, very wide, high quality print, and then a converting process that produces the bag that the customer would like to see. It makes it more usable for the customer. The gusseting and the handles and all that good stuff associated with a plastic bag. But we use the expression, we take pellets all the way through to pallets.
Fantastic. Before we started this with the camera on, I can't help thinking about, because I was asking you that often when you start investing in, whether it's technology, in software or hardware or whatever, or people for that matter, it's often because you have a challenge or something that you need to solve. Exactly. When did you get on board with EFI and getting into understanding how valuable it hopefully is for your company?
So it's a long story. I'll try to make it brief, but I was an IT consultant. I've actually been doing IT stuff for 40 years now. I have done ERP systems in the past, very large companies, using a variety of different companies that you'd recognize the names immediately, right? I met the owner of Primary Packaging, and he said, we are doing an ERP system. We'd like to do an ERP system. I said, that's what I do. And so I met with them, and I first came on as a consultant, as a contractor, and got both companies up and running on the Radius product.
Okay, so your suggestion from day one was to work on a established platform rather than trying to develop something from scratch, right?
So the decision really was, and I call it critical mass. The company grew to a certain point where they needed more sophistication. They needed to know how much their product was costing to make, what their profit margins were. We needed tracking, we needed better quality, all that stuff that you achieve by growing, right? Growing pains or critical mass. So they went and they analyzed the marketplace. They said, what software solutions are available? We are a packaging company. Therefore, the productivity suite was that market, right? The other solutions we looked at really were kind of generic.
Yeah, and that is typically what we see also in everybody talks about this digital transformation, even if we bring this up to speed today. But I think actually, in older times, you might have to just cope with whatever average solution you could get.
Right.
But a part of the digital transformation is also that you have now, because software development has become, I won't say easier or cheaper, but it's become more accessible for a lot of different developers. So now you can get something that is tailored to your business, right?
That's absolutely correct. And I've gone through this before. In an ERP package, if I bought a stack of software, it's up to me to add my business logic for whatever vertical I'm in, right? Well, if there's already one that exists in packaging, you're way ahead of the game.
And another thing I can't help think about that I see as a trend in software is also, if you buy a machine and you have, let's say, a depreciation over, let's say, 6, 8, 10 years, whatever you have for it, it becomes less and less valuable, right? But your software, with the knowledge that you build into it, the data that you bring to it, and the updates you get to it, even though you also depreciate software, it actually gets more and more valuable, right?
Well, sure, because it becomes more part of your business, right? I mean,
it's part of the DNA, basically, right?
Well, yeah, and the way I like to express that sometimes is you could consider yourself a technology company that sells plastic bags and become very good with technology, and we all want to be better with technology. So the technology becomes part, like you said, part of our process, part of our everyday life, really, of the product that we make, right? So how do you continually improve over time if you're not able to extend your technology capabilities, right? And I think anybody could look back 20 years and see what it would look like 20 years and see what it looks like now.
Totally unpredictable, right?
Nailed it. Yes.
Another thing I can't help think about is also that, and maybe I'm wrong here because I'm presumptuous right now. I'm just saying that a lot of people say that packaging industry is a very conservative industry. Will you say that I mean, that may not apply to your business, but if you look in broad terms, what is your opinion about that?
The first reaction is conservative. Does that mean politically conservative versus liberal? No.
No, I'm talking conservative in change, because if you have something that works, why should you then change it?
Fair enough. Yes. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
So the reason why I'm asking this is because, I mean, when we talk about the software and how it actually develops your business, part of how you see the future of the next iteration of the business development. I can't help think about that. With working with EFI and being part of the user conference enables you to take a leap ahead of your competition that doesn't have that knowledge, or?
I would hope so. But at a minimum, I would say to myself, how would I ever expect to keep up with my competition if I am not continually improving my capabilities? Right.
In the user groups and all the things going on today, what has been the best takeaway in your opinion?
So it's that interaction, believe it or not. I just finished our last real meeting, large group meeting today, and it was our user group for the Radius component of the suite, right? The conversations, I always introduce people at the meeting as welcome to the family. When you choose a software company, it's like getting married, right? You're in it.
With all its ups and downs?
Yes, with all the struggles that a family is going to have, right? I call, one of the EFI guys, he's crazy Uncle Kevin, right? And I'm, weird, cousin DJ, right? But the point is, we've gotten to know each other over the years so much because of those personal connections and those conversations that we've had over the years. We've made decisions right here in this hallway, okay? Right here. We've made decisions that have affected the course of the software for every user. I think that's the amazing part of Connect.
But that is also very committing because you have to come back next year, right?
Oh yes. Well, for me, I look forward to it because you're going to learn a lot, right? But it's also those personal interactions. I get to meet people. I get to have conversations. I got to meet you today.
I feel that I have the honor, but thank you very much.
No, you're very welcome. No, but it's I don't say this lightly, but a company that is actually listening to you and you can see the results, right, is rare.
Couldn't be any better, could it?
It could always be better, but if we ever lose that, then you're just the same as any other software company, right? I hope that we never lose that connection, right? That's what makes that the EPS, now it's the EPS team. That's what makes that EPS team exceptional in my book right now. We can talk about defects and problems and all the things associated with a family, right? Everybody's got their story, right? Ours is actually a good story.
Thank you very much, Sergeant.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. Thank you.